have your book open like this so you can see both. I can see both pages because they're on adjacent pages to each other.
Adjacent.
Because we can't do nice things.
What does adjacent mean? Oh, like when something's next to each other. No, that's not parallel.
Music makes me lose control.
So
Two lines.
where is my
parallel?
I know what
Yes.
you mean.
So
Yeah. How about two?
What? What'd you say?
Yes, girls need a dress code, boys don't.
Okay, well,
Ah!
Hey,
What was that? Ah! That's such vile language.
there should be a debate, bro. I should take off my girls should have a dress code, boys should. It's, yes, yes.
what would the dress code restrict from us?
Yeah, what are we gonna wear?
Clothes gonna be the cover?
Corona extra t-shirts, that should be allowed any time of the day.
Find it.
It's always rude.
Get it out.
So it should be allowed. Dress code. I think we could wear Speedos too.
I wear Lululemon tights sometimes.
If I get Anthony.
He's trying, he's doing a job. Change your worst.
You would love that, wouldn't you?
Which one are you?
That's where you can mark. Get a bottom mark, you have to finish it.
Anthony like this.
I'm wearing this.
I don't swear that. Do it.
Ah!
I'll pay you off.
You know what you want from me?
All right.
She's gonna be in class.
Ready?
Set.
Ready.
Yo.
I need to go home. I was
All right.
actually texting my mom to go.
All right, so taking a look at page 47, 48. Let me just have a seat for a sec while I look at it. What questions on page 47 would you like me to run through? So I came around a lot of you are like, I don't get it.
No, 47 was easy.
47, everyone's set on 1 through 14 on page 47?
There, I have no clue what's
Okay.
going on.
Any other questions from page 47? Anything at all? We're good? Why don't you have yours out? I don't know. I'm sorry. I know it's the first day of school and we're trying to still figure out patterns, but. All right, page 48. What do we have? Go ahead.
What is a domain?
Where are you at? Which problem?
15 and 16.
Okay, so let's look at number 15 first. And I'm going to do the best I can to kind of draw it out for you. Kind of looks like this, right? Is that right? Okay. So it's going to ask for the domain. And these are new terms in the range. And then it's also going to ask for B, where is it decreasing? And then letter C, where is the function positive? All right, so now I'm going to try and draw in the best I can the XY axis to this. So it kind of looks like that. Kind of looks like that. Agree? Yeah. And this one back here, that's negative 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is the point negative 5, 2. So we need domain and range, and I'll have to use this point eventually. So that's 0, 3. Are you okay how I'm identifying these points? 1, 2, so that's 1, 3, 1, 2. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. Is that appropriate conversation?
No.
Good. let you adjust from it then. Thanks, man. All right, so the domain. What we're going to do is the domain, come on, go to red. The domain are the x terms. And so the domain you can list, use that fancy bracket, -5, 0, 3, and 5. So all I did is I just looked at my x terms up there. I didn't look at anything else. And I put them in order from left to right. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Any part of that's not making a sense. So remember, the domain goes with the x value. The x value and input and domain and all of mean the same thing. Now let's see if I can do this in range. Do this in blue. So I'm going to take a look at my y values. Now, in order to get some rhyme or reason to your range, you're going to work your way from the bottom to the top. So what is my bottom blue? -3. And then it looks like -2 will work. And then what comes up from there? And then 3. So here's the tough thing. And unfortunately in lower grades, they say, oh no, these should all be in order so I can map this to this, and this to this, and this to this. That's not the reason you list the domain and range. You list the domain and range from least to greatest and least to greatest. Okay? Does -5, -3 go with each other? No, -5 goes with 2. Okay, so when you're looking at a bracket, now if they said to you, hey, generate what points this comes to, then you have to realize that they have these all in order for you to go with. But when you're listing them, list them from least to greatest. So left to right for the domain, bottom to top for range. Then they say, hey, where is this thing decreasing? So from here to here, that's decreasing, and from here to here. So have any of you ever worked with slope before or heard the term slope? Decreasing means your slope is negative. That's all it means. So if I were to list where it's decreasing, I'll bring it over here so it's more space. It is decreasing from -5 to, so decreasing should be those fancy brackets, -5 to -3. That's -3 right there. Is that okay? Where else is it decreasing by what I just said? So it's decreasing from here to here, and then it's going from where? 0 to, what's the x component? +3. Okay, so the 5, so when we're listing it decreasing, that means take a look at the x component. Take a look at the domain. Take a look at the input. They all mean the same thing. So from -5 to -3, I have a decreasing function, or I have a decreasing slope. And then from 0 to 3, it's also decreasing. What's it doing here and here? It's increasing, right? So an increasing is a positive slope, okay? So decreasing on the green, but they didn't ask for increasing. And then this one gets goofy. All right, let's see if we can figure this out. We'll do this in the pink dotted. I want to know where it's positive, okay? Anywhere above the x-axis, that line right there, is a positive region, okay? So, anything that's above this line is positive, okay? So, listing it in the x, I'm positive to here. What is happening right here at -3? What is it? Is it positive or negative? Careful. It's -3, 0. Is 0 positive or negative?
Positive.
It's
Neither. It's the fulcrum in between the number systems. So it's positive here on the green. Is it positive here on this black?
Yes.
Is it positive right here?
No.
Right here?
Yeah.
It's above the x-axis, right? So I have to find that other point. Looks like it's about 1.5. Right here looks like it's about 1.50. All right, so I want to list where this is increasing, or it's positive, excuse me, where it's positive. So from -5 square bracket to -3 rounded bracket. So again, I'm looking at the x components. Agree? Why is it a rounded bracket at -3? It's a square bracket at -5 because it's way up there. Why is it a rounded bracket at -3? Does not include it. Good. Because at -3 we're at 0, and 0 is not positive or negative, right? All right, so then I'm going to start back up from -3, and it comes all the way up here, and then all the way back here. So then it goes from -3 to 1.5. And that is where my graph is positive. That's where the graph exists above the x-axis. Why do I start and stop at -3? Because we can't include it, because at -3 our graph is at 0. 0 doesn't have a sign to it. Okay? Would you like me to do number 16 as well? I forgot who asked for that one. So. Do you want 16 as well?
No, I think I got it.
Does anyone want to see number 16, or are you okay? So there's a lot of different terms. I don't think they're impossible, but it's just like when you read them all for the first time, you're like, dude. Number 16, where's the graph positive? From 0 to 8, the whole graph is, except for we're at 0, 0. Okay? What other questions do we have on page 47 and 48? Take a look. Take an honest look. I have time to do it. Yeah. Heck yeah. Good one. All right, number 24. Good problem. All right, so problem number 24. We want g at -1. And we have 3 equations. And the equation I'm going to use is this equation. How do I know I'm going to use this one? Because I want the g at function. So what do you think I should do with this -1 on this function? So this means I'm replacing my x's with -1. So g at -1 is equal to 2 -1 minus 3 squared plus 1. What had been right there? Had been an x. I replaced the -1 with the x. Okay? So now we're going to do the arithmetic. So g at -1 is equal to, that's 2 times -4 squared plus 1. Careful with our order of operations. What is -4 squared? Positive 16, good. Agree so far? 2 times 16 is what?
16.
2 times 16 is what?
32.
32. 32 added to 1?
33.
There you go. So what is g at -1 equal to? 33. If I had plotted that as a point, this would give me the point -1 comma 33. Okay? What else do you have as far as the homework goes? Take a look at it. Some of you are just sitting there staring off into space. Take a look at the homework. Some newer concepts in there. Even if you didn't do it, you're allowed to take a look at it. Yeah. 29. Good one. Okay. So take a look at this one. And then if you look at number 29, it says this. So this one, I'm not plugging a value in for x. I'm kind of saying, hey, you got this equation, and I plug something in, I get 37 out. Okay? So the equation I'm going to use is f at x. How do I know that? Well, it's f. Oops. There we go. F of x, -3x plus 4. Okay. So if I wanted to find f at x, that means I would put something in for x. But this says, hey, f at x is equal to this, and f at x is equal to this. So what do you think I should do with the two things?
Combine them.
Make them equal. F of x equals 37. Hey, I get 37 when I plug something in for that x. So I'm going to take these, I'm going to make them both equal to each other. And I get this. Is that okay? So then I just have to, this is my dotted line. Okay, subtract 4. And then 37, subtracting 4 is 33, I think. Divide by negative 3. Yeah, baby. So this then yields me the point negative 11 comma 37. If I go back one screen, what was I doing different? Well, I was plugging in for our x value. On this one, I'm setting what my two equations equal to each other would be. Okay? Anything else up to on page 48? Take a good look. Yeah.
This is on page 47.
47, I'll do it.
Number 8.
Number 8. What do they want us to do? Determine if the relation is a function. Okay, so number 8, the graph looks like this, right? So if I draw a whole bunch of infinite lines vertical, it'll only touch once, so yes, it's a function. Okay, that is called an exponential decay model, which just give you the terms for that. Anything else on either of the pages? Happy? All right, so let's see if we can follow directions. Okay, because the pages are goofed up, all I need is page 47. Does that make sense? Because what's on the back side of 48? 49. 49 is probably tonight's homework. So turn in only page 47. Does that make sense? Make sure your name's on it. If you're turning anything in old, go ahead and make sure your name is on that as well. But just turn in page 47. Do not have 47 with 48 stapled on back. I know that it's goofed up. That's why I came around and marked it off. So I could tell. Got it? Everyone happy?
Yes, sir.
Yep, I think.
Well, my legs.
So, homecoming week, everyone got, I know I have a label as a math nerd, but what is this called though? No, it's not a hashtag, is it? What is this called? No, bad puns or pun? Visual puns. And I know you said you're deviled egg. Anyone else? Any pun? No pun?
This is girl.
I was thinking of one, but it's pretty nice.
Share it with me in private. All right.
I saw Dunkin' Donuts.
Love it.
And there's a girl walking around with a trash bag on that had like the rapper M&M all over it because he's
White trash.
Wow.
Gotcha.
Funny. That's funny.
Yeah, some guy did that.
I mean, he's a really good rapper.
What's wrong with the prom pokers? All right. Well, I got a question. Just kind of surveying y'all. How many of you will be going to the homecoming dance? You gonna try? Okay. Gonna try? Sweet.
Stupid.
What? Sit in the hall. Seriously, sit in the hall. So I saw a couple of you raise your hands. Those of you that didn't, are you not wanting to go because you don't think you're welcome? You're very welcome to be there. We spent a lot of time putting this together. I've spent almost $10,000 on 2 different DJs, on decorations, on food. We will have, and I've been watching the weather pretty closely. I like today's broadcast. It said it's supposed to be 82 degrees for a high on Saturday, which means it'll be cooler at night, but not freezing. So if you go, I would love to see you there. It's don't let high school go by you and you avoid things. Okay? Go and experience high school. I mean, there are definitely fun things. What can't we do at the dances? I mean, we can have a lot of fun at them. Okay? Last year, I had almost 2,000 students show up to the homecoming dance. Prom only had 1,300. Why is that? Well, I think it's a better price point dance to go to. Two, my patio last year, my outside patio was 10,000 square feet. This year's 25,000 square feet. And I have a DJ outside as well. And so the music outside isn't going to be blaring loud. The one inside, it's going to be loud. And it'll be good. And I think it'll be just a fun time. And so I very much welcome you to think about going, because you have the rest of your life to go and do whatever, but you only have so long that you're in high school. All right? So did I hand you guys notes?
Yes.
Cool. So notes today aren't a lot. Let me just get this switched over to, hey, hello. There we go. McFly. All right, here we go. Now we're gonna try and just represent. We're gonna try and represent a real situation. Is it 100% accurate that we're doing? No. Did I call Uber this morning and find out? I wish I was that cool, but I'm not that prepared. Okay, so this says, let's see at x. So I want to decipher. Let me read this first, and then let's go back and decipher it, because I want you to realize what we're talking about. So last year, or let's see at x equal 0.55x plus 5.50 represent the cost of taking an Uber in miles. And then question A says, if you live 3 miles from school, how much will your Uber cost? And then if you have $40, how far will Uber take you? And then what's a reasonable domain and range for this function? All right, now that's kind of a lot to look at. This is a definite problem you could see on an SAT or an ACT without a problem. Did I give you guys the notes?
Yes.
Okay, I couldn't remember, sorry. All right, so let's just put this in terms that we understand. C at x, that's just the cost, means we're doing some cost. C at x is functional notation, so that's the same thing as saying y equals. Does that make sense? And then the 0.55x plus 5.5. So this is just some sort of linear equation is all it is. Okay, so C at x, we're making it y equals, just so you can kind of look at it. Does that look like something you could work? It's a line, so I hope. Now let's think about this. If I live 3 miles from school, how much will my Uber cost? So take a look up there. I can either do C at 3, or I could go 3 is equal to 0.55x plus 5.50. What do you think it would be? C at 3 would be this, 0.55 times 3 plus 5.5. So I substituted in 3 for x. So which equation would it be? Would it be the one that I just surrounded in the black dotted, or the one that I did in the pink dotted? What do you think? Pink. Pink? Seem okay? So does this make sense? Let's see at x equal 0.55x plus 5.5 represent the cost of taking an Uber x miles. Okay, so x miles is important to think about. X miles, hey, we live 3 miles from this thing. So I'm plugging in 3 for my x. Does someone have a calculator? And if so, will you do this math for me? Because I don't know how to do it. You ready? If you need to, you can grab one from the cupboard. But I think the cupboard have it. Ready? Only one?
Oh, I know, I have one.
Oh, sweet. If anyone wants to grab one, they're in the cabinet. You can grab one. Happy to have you grab. I'll wait.
Oh, no, just kidding. I only have
Hey, look, it's 1, 2, 3, 4 is the time. Sorry.
Dude, it's my favorite time of day.
Best time
Whenever
ever.
I look at the clock and it's that time, it's a good day.
We should get ice cream.
Jacob probably has a good one.
Hopefully God was 1, 2, 3.
All right, you ready? For those that you have a calculator, ready?
Yes.
Let's do the math. So if you have the bigger calculator, you can go 0.55 times 3 plus 5.5. 0.55 times 3 plus 5.5. Get an answer?
7.15.
7.15? Is that right? So 7.15. 7.15. So, no, I get it right. 7.15. So if you live 3 miles from school, and that was the actual rate that Uber charged you, it cost you $7.15 to go that 3 miles.
That's actually about right.
Is it?
Yeah.
Cool. I've never taken an Uber.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not that cool. I'm sorry.
My mom takes
And
Uber
I talk to some of my
everywhere.
friends who are like, dude, we Uber all the time. I'm like, oh. So I just swear, you just hit this app, you hit this button, and they come and find you. Like, what?
It's a waste of money.
And honestly,
Okay.
Lyft is a lot cheaper.
Oh, is that it?
It's another.
Another
It's almost like Uber.
another ride.
It's
Wait,
like
what
the
is
same thing.
That or I could just.
I just
call
want to
my
dial
friend and go, hey,
303
come pick me up.
333 That's the
Taxi
taxi, right?
Yeah.
That's where I'm at, but I don't know. Maybe this Uber stuff's better. I don't know. It is? I don't know. I've never taken it, so I can't do it. All right. Let's take a look at this next one. It says, if you have $40, how far can the Uber take you? Well, what does X represent in our original equation up here? What does X represent? X miles, maybe? What does the C at X mean? Well, we plugged C at 3 in, we got a cost, right?
Right.
So where do I plug the 40 in? Do I plug 40 in? Do I make it 40 equals 0.55 plus 5.5? Because this one up here was wrong. So do you think I should do this? Is that a little different because I set them equal to each other versus plugging it in? So could this be a something that someone might think about? Let's say you're down at the Rockies game, or I don't know, wherever. You're somewhere, and you only have a certain amount of money. Is that something you would take into consider if you called an Uber? I don't know. Again, I've never taken an Uber, so I don't know this. You would think that would make sense, though, right? If you're like, dude, I can go $40, and then the Uber comes. How does Uber work? Do you push the button and it tells you how much it'll take you to go there? Oh, it does have that?
Yeah.
Like shared, so that's when you share a ride with someone, and then like a nicer car or like a big car.
Yeah, like you can have like Uber X. Like
Uber
that's
X is
the,
just
that's
like
the nice.
regular.
Oh, I thought that was like the nice one.
No, the
Dude,
next
I'm
one's
totally
Uber
missing
Black.
out on this Uber thing.
It's Uber Black, Uber SUV, and Uber.
Oliver, you ever taken Uber?
Uber Eats.
Yeah, Uber Eats.
No.
Uber X.
Who all has taken some sort of Uber or Lyft in here? Dude, I'm missing out.
Jacob, raise your hand. I
You
saw you
guys
at
are
Uber
so-
yesterday.
This is so cool. I mean, like, I'm totally unaware of this stuff. I know it exists, but I'm like scared of it.
Did
I
you
don't
know
know.
they have Uber
I'd
for
rather
kids?
just go hitchhike.
Like, they have Ubers
Well,
for
that's
kids.
so
like
sketchy.
younger kids.
But it's so expensive.
Ubers
It's
for kids.
expensive, but imagine that. Some weird man pulls up in a white van. Yeah, I'm your Uber for your kid. You want your kid getting that?
They have no code words for them kids.
There's a code.
Like
A lot of Ubers
parents
will
says-
say like
I have to
Your
learn code words about
Face
food.
like, hey,
That's
you said
it.
you're not gonna have kids.
tell the child like what the code word is.
Does
The
he?
child has to say like, oh yeah, that's the code word. Like that's
So you
what
hate
it
me?
is.
I have a code word.
Called pineapple juice.
On my
I'm
version,
gonna act like a
it's
child.
like it's so good.
Have the child, mom, body, and teenage ridiculous.
Dude, I have that video on my phone.
Interesting. I didn't know this.
And a lot of people will ask if you're 18 and they'll ID, but they're not allowed to.
Okay.
I would ID
I don't know the whole, this is just a new, that's it. I'll take it an Uber.
I have friends.
Do they
that
take
are
cash?
always going down
No.
jobs.
You have to pay it
so
outright.
they're free.
What?
Yeah, you have to pay it out of your bank account.
I don't got no app on my phone that does that.
You don't have the Wells Fargo?
Right, I ain't got no big.
You don't need to do that. You just put your credit card number in.
And then they still like $200 from you.
No credit card.
Dude.
That charges off your credit card. Watch Mr. Service
My
go home and be like,
answer is
you guys, guess what I learned about today? I learned about
And
Uber.
my daughters be like, Dad, we've been taking Ubers for the past 3 years. You just didn't know. Oh.
Yeah,
I'm a
random goes to
moron.
random credit card charges.
All right. Thank you for enlightening me on this Uber stuff. So I got a question. We have this problem up here. We have 40 is equal to 0.55x plus 5.50. So I want to solve for x, and that x is going to be how many miles we're going to drive. Okay, so how am I going to solve this problem right here? What do you think? What should I do to both sides to start getting x by itself? Subtract 5.5? Okay. Now some of you have a calculator, which you're totally going to help me out here. What is 40 subtract 5.5?
34.5.
34.
34 what?
34.5.
34.5? Alright. Now, how do I undo 0.55x? What should I do to both sides? Divide. So I'm going to divide both sides by 0.55. So 34.5 divided by 0.55 is how much? 34.5 divided by 0.55 is how much?
62.72727273.
2.72? Wow. Is that far for an Uber drive? I don't know.
62?
62 miles?
Yeah, that's pretty
Yeah.
far.
One time I took an Uber to Highlands Ranch, it was like $50.
Yeah, but this is 40 bucks.
You're
Highlands Ranch ain't that far.
Yeah, that's
You
why-
went with the
that's
wrong
why
Uber. You gotta go the Uber at Stirrup. Because clearly we got the better rate.
Yeah, but that's not an accurate rate for Uber.
But that's not.
Probably.
Yeah.
It's 'cause I've never done it, so I don't know.
It's a good. It was a
The
good
Stirrup
idea.
Uber.
Stirrup
We'll
Uber
call
should
it.
have done
We'll
that.
call it the
Uber.
Stuber.
Oh,
I should.
Well, I'm not-
Hey, I got a minivan, man. I put how many seats there? One. I could add with me. There's 5 more people, man. I could be like Uber on steroids, man. Then we could open the sunroof.
Even go to the super steroids.
All right. So.
But we
I have
all
this
get,
much
we all
money.
get a portion of the, what's it called?
We each get 1%.
You got it.
I wish.
All right. So, ready? Here we go. Says, what is a reasonable domain? So, let me ask you this. Domain is the x value. Agree?
Yes.
So, would you call an Uber if you only want to drive no miles?
No.
I mean, maybe if it's like dumping snow and you want to drive from here to the C-store. But I couldn't imagine calling an Uber for anything. I might be wrong, though. Because I've been to Vegas. I lived in Vegas for a long time. I've seen people take a taxi cab from me, which I guess that'd be like an Uber old school, right? From me to that wall. All right, we're there. $27.50. Oh, that was a great ride. You're like, dude, walk. What's wrong with your legs? Oh, too fat. Why? Why are you so fat?
Because you're not exercising with your feet.
I understand.
How do you exercise? Walking.
You
How
walk-
else would
walk
you
in a rest-
exercise?
All right. Hey, so how far could I drive in an Uber? Could I take an Uber from here to New York City? I don't know. You all know.
Yeah.
A lot of Ubers
Like you
just
could?
do-
Across the country.
No way.
A lot of Ubers just do like airport runs.
Okay.
And there's Uber ski, so they have ski racks and they'll drive you up the mountains.
This
What?
Uber thing sounded more amazing.
Are you serious?
Stuber sounds better.
Wait, is
We're gonna open this,
I've
man.
been Ubering
We'll
since
start
I
out
was
with the
7.
minivan. Y'all get the license. I'll drive for Stuber.
Okay.
Just Sturm driving up a freaking mountain.
You know what I'm gonna do though? My last name's Stirrup, so you know I got horses. Somebody's coming on the horse. Giddy up. I'll put the extra big saddle on. Someone can sit on the big saddle. Might be a little longer ride. Sometimes it's stinky because you have nature trail.
Wait, do you actually have horses?
You think last name Stirp, I wouldn't. Yes, my parents down in Arizona have horses.
Oh, wow. That
We
is
all take a field
Wait,
trip.
what kind?
We can
The
stew
one with
to
4 legs,
Arizona.
long tail.
We can stew to Arizona and ride
I'm actually
horses.
afraid of cows.
My sister's the one who's taking care of them now. Yeah, they're just 3 or 4 horses. They're really smaller. They're fun for riding.
It'll be called
She- I know the main one, the first one that we got, we named Mr. Checkers because he looks like he has freckles, so they call it Checkers. I don't know.
Do you have cows?
No cows.
It'll be called
If you
Super Horse Edition.
We don't have any beef. No.
Horse Edition.
My parents have some acreage and then they have horses on it. So a reasonable domain, I would say we could say infinity, but that's silly, right? Again, that's why we have a rounded bracket. What about a range? What would the minimum value an Uber would charge you be?
Like $8.
No, up there, using that.
Oh,
Right here.
$5.50.
$5.50. That's if you call the Uber and you're like, nah. You gotta pay that just for them to show up. So how much could Uber charge you? Well, however much money is in your bank account. Cool?
Do we get to ride Super for free?
Yes, you guys do. Oh, we charge your friends.
Don't charge 6 period.
6 periods charged all day
Yeah,
long.
charge.
Yeah, that's how do you think we're profit off this? All right, first scuba ride is in the stirrup mobile outside.
Even if they're not in the car, you still charge them.
All right.
Just for
All
being
right, let's finish this up real quick.
Just for being next to the car.
We had some fun. I appreciate you guys educating me this on the Stuber Uber. All right, during the last swim meet, Jake dove 8 feet away from the starting block. Okay. He swam at a rate of 5 feet per second.
Oh, God.
Okay. So he dove off this diving platform and went 8 feet. And then he did 5 feet per second. Okay? So write a linear equation. So if he just dove off the block, he's going 8 feet no matter what. And then he's doing 5 feet per second. So here's our linear equation that's related to this. How far away from the starting block will he be after 8 seconds? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to plug 8 in for x. So it looks like 48. Because 8 times 5 is 40 plus 8 is 48. So 48 feet. If you're in a meter pool, that gets goofy. And how long will it take for him to swim 100? Whoops.
What? These Usain Bolt.
All right. So that's going to be 92 equals 5x. And that's about as far as I'm going to get because y'all are wanting to go. What should I get? All right. So homework tonight is going to be page 49 and 50. Remember, page 49 is the backside of
48.
right? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Hey, I can't thank y'all enough for helping me with this Uber stuff. I had so many questions. Like, I'm frightened. When my friends are like, dude, we got to take an Uber, I'm like, wanting to just curl up in the fetal position because I'm afraid. I don't know if it's good or bad. Have a great day, everybody.
Where's Jacob?
Someone flip that light switch on your way up, please.
Where's Aiden? Where's Aiden's legs? Oh, where are your legs?